Shalom, Zion. I've got redemption on the brain. Redemption from the nations, the idols, and the host of heaven. And that day, the Most High's true chosen people will be known to all. Our land healed, and the righteous of the nations will be added unto us. That reminds me of a verse from the book of Uncle Jeremiah, where two manner of people are added to us. Jeremiah chapter 38, verse 26 through 27 in the Septuagint, chapter 31 in the KJV. Quote, "Therefore I awake, and behold, and my sleep was sweet to me. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith Yah, when I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and the seed of beast." End quote. First, notice what the Most High said. He awoke. Could he be sleeping until he hears our cries of hopelessness? Sowing both the house of Israel and Judah with the seed of man and beast. I thought if you were from Adam, you were already the seed of man. Whomever this seed of man is, they are completely different than both houses of the Most High's people. The bigger problem or question is, who are the nations who make up the seed of beast? Could this one verse prove that Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 are two different creation stories? At the same time as our redemption, the ungodly and wicked of the nations will be punished, their land made desolate and destroyed, some for 70 years, and some will be captive to us, and others will be sleeping with the fishes. The Most High said entire nations will die at once. Also within this chapter, Yah himself tells us when all the nations of the world will finally believe our claims of inheritance. This upcoming chapter almost encompasses our entire redemption story, but it leaves out one huge event from this chapter. One huge truth, Zion. The Most High said this before any one of us was even born. The only Elohim outside of time. The only Elohim who can tell you the end from the very beginning. I will prove that we are still under the curses of Yah, and no, the Most High has not loosened the sting of the curses, nor turned down the furnace of affliction. Proving this, you'll have to confront the fact that the civil rights movement, our feeble protests for equal rights, colored people's economic advancement, being highly educated, the Black Hebrew Israelite movement, and the Black church are nothing more than a trick, or as the scriptures say, a stumbling block by the evildoers who refuse to let us go from bondage.
And this will be like showing a vampire the cross or throwing holy water on a vampire. See, because the worst thing that a deceiver wants is for the people deceived to find the truth. Black folk picking cotton. Listen good now. Cotton was then what oil is now. The largest producer of oil in the world are the rich ones, and the strategic interests of America means in order for them to rule, they have to link with where the oil is coming from and take it or maneuver to get it, but they must have oil. In the time of slavery, it was cotton. And it's interesting that the cotton would come down the Mississippi, New Orleans to the Gulf, from Biloxi, Mississippi, and from Mobile, Alabama, and the cotton would come down and go up to New York, where the brethren of the Jewish people in the South, in the North, were the masters of the needle trades. And they had their brothers also in the South taking the lint from the cotton and producing cloth through weaving. But these were Jewish people owning the land. They were the majority. They were the merchants. They were the traders. They knew how to hook up with their brethren in the north. And they would send raw cotton to the mills in England, in Manchester, Leeds, and Bristol. And the British would turn it into cloth and then sell it all over the world. The Rothschilds became rich from cotton. The Lehman Brothers became rich from cotton in Alabama, then moved to New York and Wall Street. I know the truth, and somebody gotta tell it or die trying.
I still hate you.
Still hate you. Zion, I'm tired. I'm ready to be redeemed from the nations and restored to our land in perfect prosperity. What say you? Ezekiel chapter 36 in the Septuagint. Quote, "And thou, son of man, prophesy to the mountains of Israel, and say to the mountains of Israel, Hear ye the word of Yah. Thus saith Yah Elohim, because the enemy has said against you, Aha, the old waste places are become a possession for us. Therefore prophesy and say, Thus saith Yah Elohim, because you have been dishonored and hated by those round about you, that ye might become a possession to the remainder of the nations, and ye became a byword and a reproach to the nations. Therefore, ye mountains of Israel, hear ye the word of Yah. Thus saith Yah to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the streams, and to the valleys, and to the places that have been made desolate and destroyed, and to the cities that have been deserted, and have become a spoil and a trampling to the nations that were left round about. Therefore, thus saith Yah, Verily in the fire of my wrath I have spoken against the rest of the nations, and against all Idumea, because they have appropriated my land to themselves for a possession with joy, disregarding the lives of the inhabitants to destroy it by plunder." End quote. First, let me start with this. Some have tried to use this to prove that the imposters are Esau by the atrocities that they are committing against their cousins, the Palestinians.
Why West supports Israel unconditionally. Western governments support Israel because of humanity. Also because of the Ben Gurion Canal Project, which is Israel's initiative to construct a new canal aimed to boost their economy. It's expected to generate approximately annual revenue of $6 billion. The canal offers Western governments a superior alternative to the Suez Canal, which will solidify their control over the world's most crucial shipping route. To construct the canal, Israel must reroute it to avoid Gaza, preventing potential economic growth in the Palestinian territory. The Gaza Strip is seen as problematic for the canal project, so Israel wants to take over Gaza in the name of self-defense and use the land for their canal project. And the cheapest way to build this canal is by using nuclear explosives. This will bring in billions of dollars, but it will come at the cost of millions of innocent Palestinian lives. Historically, Arab countries used the Suez Canal to pressure the West, but the new canal gives the West more flexibility in Middle East. This allows them to destabilize Middle East and expand their imperialism.
Idumea, which is Esau, and the original inhabitants of Mount Seir, and whoever else procreated in that land, this is not saying that the impostors are Esau, but Edom did spread his seed far and wide. Not only is the prophecy to the mountains, but also the hills, streams, valleys, forests, and the places that have been made desolate, destroyed, and deserted. We should all know that there are spirits over every land upon this earth. This is why the Most High said that Jerusalem has breast and was polluted in her blood in Ezekiel chapter 16. Jerusalem is not only the name of a land, but also a feminine spirit. The Most High's words to the mountains are about our enemies taking her old waste places for a possession to themselves. The land has been dishonored and hated by all those round about, just as the inhabitants of the land became a byword and a reproach to the nations. It is though the people and the land are one, and the land is right under our noses. These nations took it upon themselves to appropriate the Most High's land and took it with joy, while at the same time disregarding the lives of the inhabitants to destroy the Most High's land by plunder. Yah Elohim will speak against the rest of the nations and all Idumea in the fire of his wrath. For some reason, the Idumeans and the nations with them rings a bell. Question: could this be the Psalms 83 game? You got Ishmael, Edom, Moab, the Hagarenes, Gabal, Ammon, Amalek, the Philistines, Tyre, and Ashur. Could this be explaining what exactly those nations did? Yes? No? Their scheme was to Psalms chapter 83 verses 4 through 6. Quote, "Against thy people they have craftily imagined a device, and have taken counsel against thy saints. They have said, Come, and let us utterly destroy them out of the nation, and let the name of Israel be remembered no more at all. For they have taken counsel together with one consent. They have made a confederacy against thee." End quote. These are the same nations who destroyed and plundered our homeland. According to the cult counts, the Moabites and the children of Ammon are the Japanese and the Chinese who were round about the land throughout all of antiquity, somehow. The first part of their scheme was to get us as far away from the land and them as possible, then to make us forget who we are, where we are from, and our heritage. Another fact of the matter, look at what the Israelites have done to the name of Israel. All modern peoples look at Israel, the nation, thus the people and religion, as a beacon of death, destruction, and flat out lies. Get this, they are currently fighting for the right to bomb hospitals, schools, and humanitarian aid convoys, while at the same time trying to convince the world that rape is an essential part of war. Well. Looks like the imposters used the scriptures to advocate raping women and children, just like GMS did. The imposters also believe Esau is the American beige man. 2 peas in a pot. Zion, I think I found one verse directly talking about the black Hebrew Israelite phonies. Uncle Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 20. Quote, "Thy sons are the perplexed ones that sleep at the top of every street as a half-boiled beet. They that are full of the anger of Yah, caused to faint by Yah Elohim." End quote. More coming from this chapter in an upcoming video. This is what a half-boiled beet looks like. I got some stock images, but I thought it would be better if I boiled it myself just for this video. Check the hue of the beet, Zion. Notice, they are at the top of every street, just like the campers, perplexed and full of the anger of Yah, caused to faint by Yah. Get out of these damn camps, people. Continuing, thus they have destroyed the name of Israel, both the imposters and the cult camps. Regardless of the fact that Israel, the name that we know today, isn't the real Paleo-Hebrew name of the kingdom nor the people, remember, we are in captivity. Therefore, what we know, believe, and even can prove doesn't really matter to them, as long as we don't repent and cry out to the Most High. And since the Israelites have trampled and defiled the name of Israel, the Most High Yah, with his infinite wisdom, already had a plan to combat the misinformation spewed by the imposters. Uncle Isaiah chapter 62 verses 1 through 2. Quote, For Zion's sake I will not hold my peace, and for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest, until her righteousness goes forth as a light, and my salvation burn as a torch. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and kings thy glory, and one shall call thee by a new name, which Yah shall name. End quote. The Most High said that the Gentiles will see our righteousness and kings our glory. We are going to be called by a new name that the Most High Yah is going to give to us. The Most High will give us a new heart, a heart of flesh, and a new spirit. At this time, the Gentiles will know we are telling the truth, and the kings will know that their time on top is over. Zion. Who are the kings that the scriptures speak of, and could they be related to the seed of beast? I know that we don't think on the same level as the Most High, but any guesses to what our new name could be? Verse 6, quote, "Therefore prophesy concerning the land of Israel, and say to the mountains, and to the hills, and to the valleys, and to the forests, Thus saith Yah, Behold, I have spoken in my jealousy and in my wrath, because ye have borne the reproaches of the heathen. Therefore I will lift up my hand against the nations that are round about you. They shall bear their reproach. But your grapes and your fruits, O mountains of Israel, shall my people eat, for they are hoping to come. For behold, I am toward you, and I will have respect to you, and ye shall be tilled and sown. And I will multiply men upon you, even all the house of Israel to the end. And the city shall be inhabited, and the desolate land shall be built upon. And I will multiply men and cattle upon you, and I will cause you to dwell as at the beginning. And I will treat you well, as in your former times, and ye shall know that I am Yah. And I will increase men upon you, even my people Israel, and they shall inherit you, and ye shall be to them for a possession, and ye shall no more be bereaved of them." End quote. Zion, this is very important. Did you get the main reason for Yah's wrath and jealousy? Because we have borne the reproaches of the heathen, in whatever manner this has materialized. Because the nations taught us this foolishness, the Most High is against these same nations. We were never supposed to do the same as the nations. We are a peculiar nation of people who are only supposed to bow before the Most High. We can find the destruction of all these nations littered throughout the scriptures, mainly Uncle Ezekiel chapter 25 for the fates of Ammon, Moab, Edom, and the Philistines. Uncle Amos chapter 1 and 2 sheds light upon the same matter. Some of these nations have already been crushed, but for others, Yah is waiting until the end to show you your end. After the Most High fights for his heritage Zion, the land will be healed, and the Most High will bring forth the grapes and fruits for his people upon the mountains of Zion. The Most High said that he will have respect for the land, and the land shall be sown and tilled. That could only mean that the land isn't being sown nor tilled today. All the house of Israel will be multiplied upon the land. We will inhabit the cities, and the desolate land shall be built upon. If the chosen are hoping to come to the mountains of Israel that are within the borders of true Israel, then why are all the Christians glorifying what the Gentile apostle Paul said, to meet that damn idol in the air instead of on the mountains of Israel? Get this, Zion, the Gentile apostle Paul didn't say heaven once, only in the air. The Gentiles and their made-up Christ idol think that they're going to be hovering over us for the pseudo-1,000-year reign of that damn idol. I wonder what would happen if Idol Shy actually ever met the Most High.
You're not my son.
Please don't say that. I know you don't mean it.
Well, it's the truth. You're not my son. You never have been. You're an orphan. I don't even know who you are because you have none of me in you. You're someone else's. It's anger, your maliciousness, backwards dealings with me. You're an orphan from a basket in the middle of the desert. Did you get that? So now you know. Look at me. You're lower than a bastard.
You need to leave!
Did you know that Nimrod's birthday is the same as the cult count's Idolatry? We know that the Most High spoke to JC, aka Lucifer, plenty of times. He is the only host of heaven who said that he wants to be like the Most High. JC is the only deity placed near or on the same level as the Most High himself. Mr. Hebrew Cult Count, your blasphemous slogan of
And first and foremost, we want to give all praises, glory, and honor unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rechak Kodash.
double honors to the apostles and the elders.
Rakta Yahushua, Rakta Yahweh, Rakta Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rechak Kodash. Double honor to our apostles and elders, great millstone.
All praise and the glory to our Father Yahweh, in the name of King Yahweh Shai, in the name of the Holy Spirit forever and always. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone I will.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
saying the Most High Yah in the name of any idol, you need your ass slapped, boy. It's as though Yah and his word is the only truth left in this world. The Most High will multiply men and cattle upon the land, and the land will be as she was in her former times. And we will all know that Yah is Elohim alone. Don't get happy, all you false religion believers. The Most High Yah makes it beyond crystal clear who the men are. Verse 12 states, all the men will come from the children of Israel. At this point is when we inherit the land, and the land will no longer be bereaved of her nation. Us, the true Israelites, in the real Holy Land. Did you know that the U.S. government controls and owns almost half of Western North America? The same land is off limits to the public, and not all that land is being used for military purposes, but you better not step foot on that land or the military gonna be on your ass. Yah hasn't said one word about going to heaven, so where did that lie come from? Let's just say, all roads lead to Rome. Only trust in Yah. His spirit will navigate you through these trying times.
The world credits this man for dispensationalism. People who come against pre-tribulation rapture, this is the first man that they point to, accusing him as the father of pre-tribulation. I'm here to prove that wrong. First and foremost, let's look at this man here. His name is Irenaeus of Lyons. He was born, as you could see here, in 130 AD. Now, Irenaeus was a direct disciple of Polycarp. Who was Polycarp? Now, Polycarp here was the father of one of the churches in Asia Minor. His mentor was John the Apostle. The Gospel of John, 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, the book of Revelation. This John was his mentor. Now, Polycarp discipled Irenaeus. So we have John the Apostle, Polycarp, and then Irenaeus. Let's take a look at some of Irenaeus' writings. Now, Irenaeus, during his walk, had plenty of literature. One of his most famous books was called Against Heresies. Irenaeus wrote this book to come against the Gnosticism that corrupted the early church. Within this book, let's find some of his excerpts. So here's an excerpt from Irenaeus' book Against Heresies, chapter 5, line 29, as you guys can see. And therefore, when in the end the church shall be suddenly caught up from this, it is said, there shall be tribulation, such as not been since the beginning, neither shall be. Now, there were plenty of other church fathers, 2nd century, 3rd century, other than Irenaeus, that spoke on pre-tribulation rapture and dispensationalism prior to John Nelson Darby. But I just don't have the time in this video to show those all to you. My point is, John Nelson Darby is the father of pre-trib rapture when it comes to America. But
Verse Verse 13, quote, "Thus saith Yah Elohim, because they said to thee, Thou land devourest men, and hast been bereaved of thy nation. Therefore thou shalt no more devour men, and thou shalt no more bereave thy nation, saith Yah Elohim. And there shall no more be heard against you the reproach of the nations, and you shall no more bear the revelings of the peoples, saith Yah Elohim." End quote. The nations mocked us and the land by saying, Thou land devourest men, and thou hast been bereaved of thy nation. Yah Elohim promised that the land would no more be bereaved of thy nation, nor should it be said, Thou devourest men. Our land and nation will never hear a single reproach, nor the revelings of the people again. Thus saith Yah Elohim. All their biased stereotypes, racist thoughts, and feelings, they have even gone so far to tell the Africans coming to America to stay away from the niggas. But they keep trying to tell us that we're the same people. Cry unto Yah, Zion. The Most High didn't say that the land was filled by a strange or bastard nation, but that our land was a waste, a desolation, and bereaved of her true nation. People of the Most High Yah, lend me your ears. Our enemies are lying to you about our advancements and achievements in this land today. We are still under the curses as at this day. I will prove we are still under the curses. The bylaws of the curses state, Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 46, quote, "And these things shall be signs in thee, and wonders among thy seed forever." End quote. Was the Most High mistaken in his understanding of his own word and people? The Most High said that the curses are a sign in us and wonders among the Israelites forever. Yes, there is a huge portion of coloreds who exhibit these signs and wonders, but there is an even larger portion who don't fit the signs and wonders the Most High Yah just spoke of. This is the main reason why the nations and certain coloreds reject our claims of inheritance. There are certain blacks among us who don't fit the curses, sometimes within the same family. Hence why the Most High said, one from a city and two from a family. Jeremiah chapter 3 verse 14. Remember, only a remnant will make the cut. The others didn't make it or weren't Israelites in the first place. Thus, they are our enemies with the sole purpose of furthering our time in what the scriptures call the furnace of affliction. We are still drinking from Yah's cup of wrath as at the present. Deuteronomy chapter 28 verses 28 through 29. Quote, "Yah smite thee with insanity and blindness and astonishment of mind, and thou shalt grope at midday as a blind man would grope in the darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and then thou shalt be unjustly treated and plundered continually, and there shall be no helper." End quote. So as you can see, what we just read is one long, congruent prophecy with being unjustly treated, plundered with no helper as a result of being stricken with insanity and blindness and astonishment of mind. Insanity, thinking that you can change the hearts of those who had us in chains and those who came from them. Remember, the old form of Christianity taught them that we were subhuman without a soul, always protesting to the same people who started the problem in the first place, literally burning the candlestick at both ends, the old Hegelian dialectic. Please research Stockholm Syndrome. Before MLK and the Civil Rights Movement, our ancestors were working to arm themselves and move far away from the ghost face. Remember, separate but equal laws. Blindness for not seeing our entire precious civil rights movement was founded and financed by whites and Jewish business owners to get all our money in one place. They robbed us financially and spiritually. Research the Council for United Civil Rights Leadership, 1963. This organization, led by whites and the imposters, successfully brokered the August 1963 March on Washington with the help of the Kennedy administration. No, not MLK, but this organization led by our enemies. The civil rights movement was all about money, and King was their pawn. King was blinded by the money and bling bling then, just as we are today. Right. The Most High did say, no helper.
They had a meeting at the Carlisle Hotel in New York City. The Carlisle Hotel is owned by the Kennedy family. That's the hotel Kennedy spent the night at 2 nights ago. Belongs to his family. A philanthropic society headed by a white man named Stephen Currier called all the top civil rights leaders together at the Carlisle Hotel and told them that by you all fighting each other, you're destroying the civil rights movement. And since you're fighting over money from white liberals, let us set up what's known as the Council for United Civil Rights Leadership. Let's form this council, and all the civil rights organizations will belong to it. And we'll use it for fundraising purposes. Let me show you how tricky the white man is. And as soon as they got it formed, they elected Whitney Young as the chairman. And who you think became the co-chairman? Stephen Currier, the white man. A millionaire. Powell was talking about it down at the Cobo today. This is what he was talking about. Powell knows it happened. Randolph knows it happened. Wilkins knows it happened. King knows it happened. Every one of that so-called Big Six. They know what happened. Once they formed it, with the white man over it, he promised them and gave them $800,000 to split up between the Big Six. And told them that after the march was over, they'd give them $700,000 more. $1.5 million split up between leaders that you've been following, going to jail for, crying crocodile tears for, and they've nothing but Frank James and Jesse James and brothers. Soon as they got the setup organized, the white man made available to them top public relations experts. Opened the news media across the country at their disposal. And then they began to project these Big Six as the leaders of the march. Originally, they weren't even in the march. You was talking this march talk on Hastings Street. Is Hastings Street still here? On Hastings Street. You was talking the march talk on Lenox Avenue. And down on, Fillmore Street, and Central Avenue, and 42nd Street, and 63rd Street. That's where the march talk was being talked. But the white man put the Big Six ahead of it, made them the march. They became the march. They took it over. And the first move they made after they took it over, they invited Walter Reuther, a white man. They invited a priest, a rabbi, and an old white preacher. Yes, an old white preacher. The same white element that put Kennedy in power. Labor, the Catholics, the Jews, and liberal Protestants. Same clique that put Kennedy in power joined the March on Washington. It's just like when you got some coffee that's too black, which means it's too strong. What you do, you integrate it with cream. You make it weak. If you pour too much cream in, you won't even know you ever had coffee. It used to be hot, it becomes cool. It used to be strong, it becomes weak. It used to wake you up, now it'll put you to sleep. This is what they did with the March on Washington. They joined it. They didn't integrate it, they infiltrated it. They joined it, became a part of it, took it over. And as they took it over, it lost its militancy. They ceased to be angry. They ceased to be hot. They ceased to be uncompromising. Why, it even ceased to be a march. It became a picnic, a circus. Nothing but a circus with clowns and all. You had one right here in Detroit. I saw it on television with clowns leading it, white clowns and black clowns. I know you don't like what I'm saying, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because I can prove what I'm saying. If you think I'm telling you wrong, you bring me Martin Luther King and A. Philip Randolph and James Farmer and those other three, and see if they'll deny it over the microphone. No, it was a sellout. It was a takeover. When James Baldwin came in from Paris, they wouldn't let him talk because they couldn't make him go by the script. Bret Lancaster wrote the speech that Baldwin was supposed to make. They wouldn't let Baldwin get up there because they know Baldwin's liable to say anything. They controlled it so tight, they told those Negroes what time to hit town, how to come, where to stop, what sign to carry, what speech they could make and what speech they couldn't make, and then told them to get out of town by sundown. And every one of those toms were out of town by sundown. Now, I know you don't like my saying this, but I can back it up. It was a circus, a performance that beat anything Hollywood could ever do. The performance of the year. Luther and those other three devils should get a Academy Award for the best actors because they acted like they really loved Negroes and fooled a whole lot of Negroes. And the 6 Negro leaders should get an award, too, for the best supporting cast.
The last thing Dr. King said to me before he was murdered, Martin said, you know, I sit here deeply concerned that I suspect we're leading our nation on an integration trip that has us integrating into a burning house. Most of the politicians I know of make promises only to walk into the places of power and then deny us. I guess part of the reason I'm here is to really look through the ravages of the Democratic Party and see if anything is really worth salvaging.
Groping at midday as a blind man would grope in the darkness, meaning you will follow anyone or any deity, not knowing where that person or entity will lead you, like a blind man in the darkness. MLK, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, John Lewis, and Roy Wilkins sold the blacks out for profit. They have led us further into the furnace of affliction. Today, you guys grope after Obama, Biden, and now Harris. Not to mention the celebrities who care absolutely nothing about you. That's the reason why Beyonce took $10 million to tell y'all who to vote for an Indian lady. There is no religion mentioned within the pages of scripture, literally groping at straw. For not prospering in thy ways, the aforementioned civil rights movement, Black Hebrew Israelites, Black Lives Matter, witchcraft, and protesting to the beige man to give up some of his power so that we's can feel free. Everyone else has come up out the civil rights movement, but the people who fought the most for it. We were considered the minorities when this law was first signed, but now the immigrants and the peoples of the nations are now considered minorities and people of color. They are actively trying to replace us yet again through terminology. Did you know that before the civil rights era, the American beige man had laws on the books keeping the imposters out of their businesses, agriculture, and government? And after the civil rights movement, guess what? They're in every type of business that you see today. They don't fit the curses at all. Unjustly treated has to be talking about our era of slavery to the Ghostface and the Jew boy. No way Yah himself refers to our genocide, which is still going on today, as simply being unjustly treated. I think the cracker refers to this as the antebellum era. where according to them, the blacks knew their place and the Ghostface knew their place, the natural order of things according to them. Yah actually said, quote, "Give thee up for slaughter before thy enemies, and disperse thee to all the kingdoms of the earth," end quote. It can't be the Reconstruction era. Why? Because black people prospered to a point we were being elected to public office, mainly the Republican Party. Did you know that the Democrat Party was called the white man's party up until 100 years ago or so? You got the 1920s to the 40s named the Black Renaissance era, when we had just as much as the crackers. We had Black Wall Street, clubs, restaurants, hotels, businesses, etc. These same events were going on during the Jim Crow era, the lynchings and such. Was their reaction to our prosperity that matched or even exceeded theirs away from them?
It is a fact that in the 1950s, under Jim Crow, that black Americans were outpacing white Americans in terms of growth. That's why most people have fond memories, and I could be dating myself right now, but I'm 35, of your grandparents, like better values, going to church. My grandfather started a business despite the fact that he started a sharecropping farm. You know, faith was at the center of the family. And then you go, what happened? Well, what happened was, despite there being Jim Crow, or because of Jim Crow, black Americans couldn't rely on government. There is this simple thing that when your back is against the wall, you will fight, you know? And so then LBJ, who was the most racist president, I mean, this man was dropping the hard R N-word for breakfast every day. He hated black Americans. And yet, we learned in public school that he was our savior because he inked the Civil Rights Bill. But he had to. That wasn't by choice. Literally, he had a figurative gun to his head. And there's more stuff that he did in terms of trying, you know, the draft, wanting black Americans to die first in Vietnam, because he was so committed to racism. And he said, signing this, you know, I'll have these N-words voting Democrat for the next 200 years. And in one fellow's swoop, he signed welfareism in. And that's what broke down our families. That is the pipeline to prison.
Took the black father out the household.
Yes, the denigration, and that is why I think actually I've landed better amongst black males than amongst black females, is because I understand that the denigration of the black man is a big piece of this, right? It was intentional, it was targeted. And media plays a role in this, hip hop plays a role in this. All of this is by design, it's not by accident. And it's just so foolish to think that the solution is going to be the very people who sat down and put together this Machiavellian plan.
We are currently being unjustly treated by them always putting some black adjacent person in front of us, trying to push us further into this society, while at the same time pushing us away from the Most High. What black leader that they have put in front of us has told us to cry to the Most High or even seek the Most High? Not one. They profit off of your stupidity and pain. Continually plundered, the so-called black community spends a reported $1.3 to $1.6 trillion a year, being so rich yet so damn poor at the same time. Where is all this wealth? Literally handed over to every nation upon the face of the earth for trinkets of temporary pleasure. Additionally, according to the feds, black household wealth averages to $211,596, with the closest to us, the Mexicans, at $227,544, and the Asians a tad bit over $500,000 at $536,000. And the beige man averages, get this is an average for all the beige people in America, their average household income is $1.4 million. I recall the curses saying something about being the tail and never the head. For all my white Hebrew Israelites that I am now seeing all over the internet, the Christians who now believe they are the true seed of Israel. And nah, I'm not talking about them saying they've been grafted in. They literally think they're the bloodline the Most High is talking about. The imposters, being the head of literally everything, plunder us with their owned and controlled music industry, clothing industry, and the movie industry.
Buy it. The Hollywood big studios, you know, all controlled by Jews. They don't want to let others get in, you know.
You really can't stress too much
how pervasively Jewish the movie industry was in New York before World War I. Not that Jews were making movies or acting in movies, but there probably would not have been an extended Jewish family in New York at that time who did not have some relatives involved in some aspect of the movie industry, which was really a mom-and-pop industry of storefront theaters in not very elegant neighborhoods.
Modern America first saw light on a Hollywood screen. It was largely the product of 6 movie studios established in the 1920s and run for over 30 years by a group of Jewish immigrants. They had strikingly similar backgrounds.
All races and religions, that's a
Harry Warner, who with 3 of his brothers brought sound to the motion picture, was born in Poland.
I was Jack Warner, youngest of the Warner clan, and then the senior member of the film-famed Brothers.
Also from Poland was Samuel Goldwyn, born Goldfish. Although Goldwyn never ran a major studio, he was perhaps the biggest and best known of the independent Hollywood producers. Universal founder Carl Laemmle came from a small town in Germany. Louis B. Mayer, who gave us the glory years of the MGM studio, was born in a Russian Jewish village. William Fox and Paramount's Adolf Zucker were both born in Hungary. Fox's studio merged with 20th Century Pictures to form 20th Century Fox. The Hollywood Jews were obsessed with erasing anything Jewish in their films, their lives, and the lives of their stars. Theodosia Goodman became Theda Bara. Sofia Kosso became Sylvia Sidney. Isser Danielovich Dembski became Kirk Douglas. Leo Jacobi became Lee J. Cobb. Shirley Shrift became Shelley Winters. Bernard Schwartz became Tony Curtis. David Kaminsky became Danny Kaye. Edward Iskovitz became Eddie Cantor. Melvin Hesselberg became Melvin Douglas. Muni Wiesenfreund, a star of the Yiddish theater, became Paul Muni. Emmanuel Goldenberg became Edward G. Robinson. The G was a reminder of who he really was. Nice Jewish girls, such as Lily Palmer, Julie Holliday, and Lauren Bacall, or Betty Persky, helped to define the American woman.
But ultimately, this shadow America becomes so popular and so widely disseminated that its images and its values come to devour the real America. And so the grand irony of all of Hollywood is that Americans come to define themselves by the shadow America that was created by Eastern European Jewish immigrants who weren't admitted to the precincts of the real America.
Being so educated, yet being so stupid at the same time, falling for the same devices, generation after generation. No helper will be sent by the Most High Yah. MLK was no helper. Malcolm was no helper. Islam is no helper. Christianity or the church is no helper. The Hebrew Israelite camps are no helpers. And yes, I myself am no helper. You better cry and seek the Most High. We will never prosper without the Most High ruling over us, but the exact opposite. Nothing we try to do today will prosper without our Elohim ruling over us. Rather we deem it as good or bad. All of this is the astonishment of mind the Most High told us about thousands of years ago. One of our prophet brethren spoke about this same matter, about us being blind. Isaiah chapter 59, 9 through 11. Quote, "Therefore has judgment departed from them, and righteousness shall not overtake them. While they waited for light, darkness came upon them. While they waited for brightness, they walked in perplexity. They shall feel for the wall as a blind man. They shall feel for it as if they had no eyes. They shall feel at noonday as at midnight. They shall groan as a dying man. They shall proceed together as a bear and as a dove. We have waited for judgment, and there is no salvation. It is gone far from us." End quote. We waited for the Most High, the light. Then we got JC and his minions, the darkness. We waited for the Sabbath and the blessings that come from the law. But we got the Torah and the Tanakh are done away with, the perplexity. These are the conditions we will face before the Most High saves his people. The same thing written within the curses of the Torah. Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 29. Quote, Blessed art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by Yah. Thy helper shall hold his shield over thee, and his sword is thy boast. And thine enemy shall speak falsely to thee, and thou shalt tread upon their neck. End quote. The Most High is our only helper, O people saved by Yah. Our enemies, with an S, will lie all the damn day to you.
Because how could I not?
But at the end, the days quickly approaching us, we will tread upon their lion-ass necks. Praise Yah only. The Most High is the only helper, children of the covenant. Who is like unto thee, Zion, that you have the ear of the Almighty? Recognize who you are and why we are here.
Let me go. No! Stop! No!
Verse 16, quote, And the word of Yah came to me, saying, Son of man, the house of Israel dwelt upon their land, and defiled it by their way, and with their idols, and with their uncleannesses. And their way was before me like the uncleanness of a removed woman. So I poured out my wrath upon them, and dispersed them among the nations, and utterly scattered them through the countries. I judged them according to their way, and according to their sin. And they went in among the nations, among which they went, and they profaned my holy name, while it was said of them, These are the people of Yah, and they came forth out of his land. But I spared them for the sake of my holy name, which the house of Israel profaned among the nations, among whom they went. End quote. Just as in the last Crying Out video, we have never been afflicted or captive to any nation for serving the Most High Yah only. Our ancestors dwelt upon the land in the presence of the Most High, and still defiled the land by their ways, idols, and uncleanness. The uncleanness of a removed woman could be referring to one of three things. The laws in which, when a woman is on her cycle, she must not touch anything clean, nor enter into the temple or tabernacle. She must also be separated from her husband. She must be removed for a minimum of 3 days, or when her monthly course ends. Also, the law of childbirth. If she gives birth to a girl, it's a total of 80 days. She must be separated the initial 14 days, plus another 66 until her blood is clean, meaning her uterus has completely healed. For birthing a male child, it's a total of 40 days, the initial 7 plus another 33 days until she is completely healed. Lastly, if the woman is or was a harlot or an adulteress. But in a society that doesn't know the Most High Yah, not advocating for whores is evil and lame. Our uncleanness caused the wrath of Yah to come upon us. He dispersed us among the nations, and we were scattered through the countries. By this the Most High judged us according to our ways and sin. After the Most High gave us the boot, we went in among the nations among which we went, the places we chose to go and not forced by natural disaster or the wrath of the Most High. We went in among the nations and profaned the holy name of our Elohim, and he kicked us out of his land. We have continued to put an idol on the same level as the Most High, or even worse, higher or superior to the Most High.
To this day!
Uncle Isaiah, chapter 48 and verse 4, quote, I know that thou art stubborn, and thy neck is an iron sinew, and thy forehead brazen. End quote.
To this day!
I have the perfect example for us to see our ancestors' stubbornness, and as their children, our stubbornness today. It's epigenetics, people. It's in our DNA. Uncle Jeremiah chapter 51 in the Septuagint, chapter 44 in the KJV. starting in verse 15. Quote, Then all the men that knew that their wives burned incense, and all the women, a great multitude, and all the people that dwelt in Mizraim and Pathra, answered Jeremiah, saying, As for the word which thou hast spoken to us in the name of Yah, we will not hearken to thee. For we will surely perform every word that proceed out of our mouth, to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to pour drink offerings to her, as we and our fathers have done, and our kings and princes, in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem. And so we were filled with bread, and were well, and saw no evils. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, we have all been brought low, and have been consumed by sword and famine. And whereas we burnt incense to the Queen of Heaven, and poured drink offerings to her, did we make cakes to her and pour out drink offerings to her without our husbands? End quote. Exactly. I couldn't believe my eyes or ears either. They told Uncle Jeremiah, a prophet that they all knew was sent by the Most High. They told him no. They said, quote, For the word which thou hast spoken to us in the name of Yah, we will not hearken to thee. End quote. Not even the JC freaks tell him no, as they burn the cross. The Muslims would never tell their God no, but we did and still are, as at this day. Did you notice that they were in Mizraim committing the same offenses that got them kicked out of the land? Matches to profaning his name among the nations we went. Today's false prophets say things like this. This clip is kind of long, so I'll timestamp to the end just in case y'all don't want to watch it or y'all have already seen it before.
People will try to offer you stuff that is not commensurate to your value. They will try to give you what they themselves would never accept. They want you to accept a joke about a watermelon on a black man's head and say that they were just playing, but never any jokes about leprechauns or four-leaf clovers. They want you to accept an attempted insurrection on Capitol Hill on January 6th, but are threatening to pull out the military on those who march for Black Lives Matter. They want you to accept the dividing of families in the largest threat of deportation of immigrants, even if it divides mothers from children. And they said babies in cages will be a glorious day. They want you to believe that the smuggling of fentanyl has been from the Mexican cartel, but they will not tell you that the majority of those who have been arrested have been white males. They want you to accept that you're going to receive more money when Trump was not responsible for the stimulus check in the first place. They want you to get excited about getting a tax break, but Negro, you don't qualify. That's for folk that's making over $400,000 and you $50,000 or less. Talking about make America great again. When, Negro? When was it great? They can give it, but they cannot take it. But you gotta be careful how you treat God's people, because the last will be first and the first will be last. I don't know where y'all are, but all my haters, I wanted you to know, eat the cake, anime, eat the cake. When it is that God puts his foot down, you don't know who God is gonna bless, you don't know who God is gonna restore, and you don't know who God is gonna use. In Genesis 25, Jacob said to his brother Esau, I know you are hungry, but if you give me your birthright, I'll give you Campbell's soup. And a lot of fools fell for it. A lot of people sold their self-worth and their self-esteem in this election cycle. 18 million people did not vote at all. The Latino community, even after being stereotyped as murderers and rapists and being disrespected by calling Puerto Rico floating garbage, went and voted in record numbers. Ladies and gentlemen, white women even threw their support, realizing that they would have no authority about decisions over their bodies. Contrary to what the news did in trying to separate our community, 78% of black men voted and did the right thing. The reality, what we found out this week, is that some people in America couldn't get over their own misogyny because they would rather have a clown than have a queen. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today and I want to salute and celebrate the most consistent voting bloc in America since 2016 has been black women. And black women showed America on Tuesday, I would rather starve to death than elect a fascist, racist, rapist, misogynist dictator who has no respect over my womanhood or over my community. Jesus demonstrated for us, just because you are at a disadvantage doesn't mean you should accept just anything. Even though you feel trapped doesn't mean you have to fall for a thirst trap. Do not lower your standards because somebody has a higher position. I want you to walk in every room knowing that my Father sent me here. I don't care what your degrees, I don't care your pedigree, I don't care your ethnicity, you ain't gonna talk sideways and slick to me. I am a child of God. I'm the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am a lender and not a borrower, and God don't play about me. Look at the person beside you, tell him I ain't letting stuff slide this time. You gonna have to come to me correct or not come at all. I demand respect for my children, for myself, and for my entire family.
Zion, is this what the Most High wants from his people? Another false prophet exposes themselves. Ezekiel chapter 34. Furthermore, the Israelites went on to say, we will certainly perform all the words that came out of our mouth, end quote, which includes burning incense to the Queen of Heaven, aka the Virgin Mary, along with many other names. The rebellion was so strong in these Israelites, they told Uncle Jeremiah the whole time they were worshiping these idols, their bellies were full with bread, they were all good, and they weren't tripping on nothing, we all straight. But since Israel stopped their idolatry, they have been brought low, consumed by famine and sword. The Most High Yah recompensed their actions, and instead of trying to get closer to the Most High, they backtracked, just like our ancestors in the wilderness. Notice, the women said they did all this without their husbands. The men knew that their wives were committing idolatry, but did absolutely nothing to stop them, and eventually started to do the abominable acts with their wives. Sound like a bunch of colors, don't it? This is the best example of the stubbornness and downright disregard we have for a prophet of the Most High, thus the word of Yah, which can only mean we rejected our Elohim. I want to spin the block on this Queen of Heaven matter. The rebellious Israelites said that while they were worshiping the Queen of Heaven, they were content and saw no evils. This proves that the idols or host of heavens of the nations do have some power to sway our daily lives. These spirits are very real. Remember all the things that Satan was allowed to do to Job? Some of these hosts are more evil than others. That's why the Most High told us not to worship them. Apparently, the Queen of Heaven was giving them their heart's desire. Instead of Yah pouring out his wrath upon them or us for doing the same thing we did in the land, he spared us for his holy name's sake. You know, his promise to our granddad Abram. You know, the one about your seed being as the stars of heaven or as the sand of the sea. This is the only reason why the Most High spared us. because unlike man, it is impossible for Yah to lie. Was this last part talking about our ancestors or us today? What is what shall be, for there is no new thing under the sun. Verse 22, quote, Therefore say to the house of Israel, Thus saith Yah, I do not this, O house of Israel, for your sakes, but because of my holy name, which ye have profaned among the nations among whom ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the nations, which ye profaned in the midst of them. And the nations shall know that I am Yah, when I am sanctified among you before their eyes. And I will take you out of the nations, and I will gather you out of all the lands, and I will bring you into your own land. And I will sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be purged of all your uncleannesses, and from all your idols, and I will cleanse you. End quote. The Most High Yah reiterates that he did not do this for our sakes, but for his holy name, which we profaned among the nations in which we went, both domestic and foreign travelers, passport bros and gals, out of the cult camp affiliations outside of America, the Christian missionary camps. That has two meanings, and anyone else I forgot or couldn't think of at this present moment. Then the nations will know that Yah is Elohim when the Most High is sanctified among us before their eyes. He gonna be seen over us. Zion, only at this time will all the nations believe our claims of being blood descendants of Abram, Isaac, and Jacob, with the promises and blessings that the chosen will be glorified with. Yah told Uncle Zechariah the same thing in chapter 9, verse 14. Quote, Yah shall be over them, and his arrow shall go forth as lightning, and Yah Almighty shall blow with the trumpet, and shall proceed with the tumult of his threatening. End quote. Uncle Isaiah received the same message in chapter 52, verse 8. Quote, For the voice of them that guard thee is exalted, with the voice together they shall rejoice, for eye shall look to eye when Yah shall have mercy upon Zion. End quote. Damn right they're going to be looking eye to eye with their mouths wide open, knowing that they did the unthinkable to the untouchables. This is our last laugh, Zion, so don't get mad when the heathen mocks our claims of being children of Israel. The scriptures attest that the same people who deny our claims of inheritance will come to us from the ends of the earth, saying, We have inherited lies, vanities, and things in which there is no true profit. According to the text, after this awesome feat by the Most High Yah, he is going to gather us out of all the lands and from the nations. After the mass gathering of Zion, the Most High will bring us to the mountains of Israel. No, not heaven, ignorant Christians, but a destination on the earth. And there, on the mountains of Israel, the Most High will sprinkle us with clean water and purge us, our uncleannesses and idols, all idols, and we will finally be cleansed enough to stand in front of the Most High. I bet the Queen of Heaven, nor JC, will do any of this for you, Zion. Remember in the intro when I said that this chapter encompasses almost everything about our redemption? The one major event not covered here is the fall of 2/3 of Israel. All living Israelites today will be gathered, but not all who are gathered will be cleansed. Only the 1/3 will receive this righteous gift from our Elohim. 2/3 will be sleeping with the fishes on the mountains of Israel. The rest of this chapter will back this understanding up. But first, let me touch base on why the Most High Yah said all idols. These are idols. And yeah, these are idols too. Having a necklace, medallion, shirt, shorts, blanket, rug with the Most High's Hebrew name on it, or a likeness that you deem of him, is still idolatry. Oh, you don't believe me? Aaron made a golden calf and told all Israel, this is the Elohim who saved you from Mizraim. We all know that that was a damn lie. Even though it was supposed to be a representation of the Most High, Yah still considered this an idol, and Israel paid dearly for that mistake. So the idols are also those we have branded with the Paleo-Hebrew name of the Most High and what we deem as an image or likeness of Him. Not only have these brothers and sisters branded / trademarked Yah's holy name for clothing rights, the merchandise is on the screen. They got shirts, hoodies, sweaters, jackets, beanies, masks for robberies, fanny packs, and for the ladies, crop tops, earrings, bracelets, leggings, and booty tights. If that wasn't the most emphasized part of that photo shoot, they would have never had her pose in that position. The lady in the leggings is sitting down, no cheeks to be seen. Even though our women aren't supposed to dress like this in both style and the mixture of fabrics, again, not only have they branded / trademarked Yah's holy name, they are also profiting off the holy name of our Elohim, both the Paleo-Hebrew name and the English transliteration of his name. Could this be an example of what the Most High meant by profaning his holy name while it was said of them? You have so-called Hebrews hustling merchandise with the Most High's name on it, along with the name of their damn idol. You got idolatry, profaning, and saying we are the people in the book, all in one. And if you think I'm reaching, then explain to me what you think profaning his holy name means. Keep in mind that when the Most High commanded all the holy instruments and furniture for his holy temple, not once did the Most High tell the artificers, blacksmith, architects, nor Uncle King Solomon to inscribe his holy name upon one thing, not the Ark of the Covenant, the breastplate, not even the 2 tablets the Most High himself wrote on. Let that sink in, Zion. Yah's true name is too precious, holy, and powerful just to have it stamped all over the place. Exodus 20:4, the law forbids making idols with any likeness of anything in heaven above, in the earth beneath, and in the waters under the earth. Verse 26, quote, "And I will give you a new heart, and I will put a new spirit in you, and I will take away the heart of stone out of your flesh, and I will give you a heart of flesh, and I will put my spirit in you, and I will cause you to walk in mine ordinances, and to keep my judgments, and do them. And ye shall dwell upon the land which I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be to me a people, and I will be to you a Elohim. And I will save you from all your uncleannesses, and I will call for the corn, and multiply it, and I will not bring famine upon you, and I will multiply the fruit of the trees and the produce of the field, that ye may not bear the reproach of famine among the nations. And ye shall remember your evil ways and your evil practices that were not good. And ye shall be hateful in your own sight for your transgressions and for your abominations. Not for your sakes do I this, saith Yah Elohim, as it is known to you. Be ye ashamed and confounded for your ways, O house of Israel." End quote. Do you think the Most High will give the wicked and ungodly of Israel a new heart, a heart of flesh? Do you think the Most High will put his Holy Spirit in them that led his people astray? Do you think the Most High would allow those wicked of us to partake in these blessings? No, I don't think the 2/3 will dwell upon his land. Get your minds right, Zion. The Most High wouldn't even allow Uncle Moses to step foot upon the land. The Most High reminds us that he has saved us before, and after he saves us from this last captivity, the Most High will call for the corn and multiply it, so that the worldwide famine shall not come nigh thee. Who said that? Who complained like our ancestors in the wilderness and said just corn, fruit, and produce? What about the
beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes, lamb, rams, hogs, dogs, chicken, turkeys, rabbits, you name it?
Yah will also multiply the fruits of the trees and the produce of the field, so we won't bear the famine that is soon to spread throughout the nations. The mainstream media is not covering the fact that since the pandemic, hundreds of food processing and storage facilities have caught fire or burned completely down. They are creating the food shortage. The reason why the Most High will grow fruit for us is because of Bill Gates and the like. No, seriously, look at what this dirty bastard and the dirty bastard governments of the world have done to our food supply.
This is McDonald's French fries. I would like to argue that probably nobody in this room has not had a McDonald's French fries, by the way. Nobody raised their hand during the staff meeting earlier today. In the US, there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane is an ingredient preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin, in the US version. This is used as a foaming agent so they don't have to replace the oil that often, making McDonald's more money here in the United States. But they don't do that across the pond. Here we go. This is Skittles. Notice the long list of ingredient differences. 10 artificial dyes in the US version and titanium dioxide. This ingredient is banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. Artificial dyes are made from petroleum, and products containing these dyes require a warning label in Europe that states it may cause adverse effects on activity and detention in children. And they have been linked to cancer and disruptions in the immune system. This on the screen back here is Gatorade. In the US, they use red 40 and caramel color. In Germany, they don't. They use carrot and sweet potatoes to color their Gatorade. This is Doritos. The US version has 3 different artificial dyes and MSG. The UK version does not. And let's look at cereal. General Mills is definitely playing some tricks on us. They launched a new version of Trix just recently in Australia. It has no dyes. They even advertise that, when the US version still does. This is why I became a food activist. My name is Vani Hari, and I only want one thing. I want Americans to be treated the same way as citizens in other countries by our own American companies.
The FDA gets 75% of their money from the pharmaceutical companies that they're supposed to be regulating. Subway was putting the same chemicals that you use for a yoga mat in their bread. And was this discovered by the US government? No, it was discovered by a food blogger. I keep trying to tell people that the US government has sold out the American people to snack cartels who are able to finance billions of dollars to lobby in Washington. These food companies lobby in order to put chemicals into the food that makes it poisonous and more addictive, and our government allows it.
One of the criticisms of the anti-sugar scientists is that too much of their evidence comes from animals, not humans. That said, here at Brown University in Rhode Island, they're doing studies they think should make a lot of humans nervous. This rat is perfectly healthy. Put him in a vat of water and he finds his way to safety every time.
5.2.
Now, look at this guy. What he's been eating is the equivalent of a North American diet, complete with all the fats and sugars we regularly consume. He doesn't know where to go. His brain has been damaged.
These rats were totally normal, and then they turned into demented animals. They don't remember their learning after even a day. And as the challenge gets harder and harder, they fail more and more, just like a human with Alzheimer's disease.
36.2.
In this lab, the belief now is that Alzheimer's is really diabetes of the brain, linked to insulin levels, which can be affected by too much sugar. Professor Suzanne Delamonte.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
They have intentionally poisoned the food to poison us. Thus, the food is not in its natural state in which the Most High intended for it to look, taste, nor the natural health benefits the food is supposed to give to our bodies. Notice, all the foods that are supposed to produce seeds don't. Genetically altered food, not blessed by the Most High Yah. After seeing how loving and amazing the Most High truly is and how evil we were to him, our actions will be shameful, even hateful in our own sight. Yes, these actions we are committing today will be hateful in our own eyes. We are just too close to this society to truly see how far we have slipped from righteousness. Those who are righteous enough to see this come to pass, remember, all who listen to this may not have made it. The Most High did this for his holy name's sake and not us per se. Be ashamed and confounded by mine and your actions today. Repent and cry out to the Most High to be saved. This is how I know that the 2/3 have been dealt with by the Most High. Some won't be alive to be ashamed of what they've done. Being cleansed is your sins, iniquities, and backwards dealings with the Most High being blotted out or washed away. Verse 33, thus saith Yah Elohim, in the day wherein I shall cleanse you from all your iniquities. I will also cause the cities to be inhabited, and the waste places shall be built upon, and the desolate land shall be cultivated, whereas it was desolate in the eyes of everyone that passed by. And they shall say, that desolate land is become like a garden of delight, and the waste and desolate and ruined cities are inhabited. And the nations, as many as shall have been left round about you, shall know that I, Yah, have built the ruined cities and planted the wastelands. I, Yah, have spoken and will do it. End quote. We have just read what will happen once the Most High cleanses us. Absolutely beautiful, right? I found a video on how that damn idol Lucifer, I mean JC, cleanses those who follows him.
You pee on me.
So according to Yah himself, once he cleanses us from our iniquities, he will also cause the cities to be inhabited and the waste places to be built, and the desolate land will be cultivated, meaning the land is desolate now. Only after we are saved will the same desolate land be prepared for crops and gardening. The Most High said the land was desolate to everyone who passed by. That can only mean that since the native inhabitants are gone, people are still able to pass by the land. That's how amazing our land is. They are amazed at a desolate land.
Visit Zion each year, and now I understand why. Literally, everywhere you look, there is an insane view. For your stay, you'll want to book the Wildflower Resort for the ultimate glamping experience. Hike the iconic Narrows, a unique trail that takes you through a slot canyon where you wade through the Virgin River. The West Rim Trail to Scouts Landing is also stunning, and it's how you get to Angel's Landing, but that part you need a permit for. Go on the UTV Sunset Tour at Sand Hollow if you really want to get your adrenaline going. I was actually surprised by all the views we got here, and the colors during this time of day were amazing. For food and drinks, there's the Zion Brew Pub, which is right before the park entrance. I also really enjoyed the live music Margs and Tacos at Bit and Spur, or the green chili burritos at Oscars. And you can get quality cocktails at Cowboys and Angels.
The Most High is speaking as though the promised land isn't supposed to have people dwelling there now, or even facing an overpopulation crisis today. That's why they are passing by and not staying there, because the true land is truly desolate. Verse 35 proves this by saying, verse 35, and they shall say, that desolate land is become like a garden of delight, and the waste and desolate and ruined cities are inhabited. End quote. The they are the nations who saw the land in its bereaved state. They and all others have seen the land, said, the desolate land has become like a garden of delight. Not only that, according to the Most High's word, they said this too. The waste, desolate, and ruined cities are inhabited, Therefore, after this is done before the nations' eyes, they will have yet another miracle proving Yah is Elohim alone, and we will finally know and prove to all that the Most High Yah is the source of our prosperity. Yah will do this, for he has spoken it. Remember, Yah said, nothing that comes out of his mouth shall return to him void. Meaning, if he said it, it will happen. Trust Yah only. Verse 37, quote, Thus saith Yah Elohim, yet for this I will be sought by the house of Israel, to establish them. I will multiply them, even men as sheep, as holy sheep, as the sheep of Jerusalem in her feast. Thus shall the desert cities be filled of flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yah. End quote. An example. For all these things will the Most High be sought by the whole house of Israel. Question, Zion. Why did the Most High say he will multiply men as sheep, as holy sheep? My hypothesis is the 2/3, the ungodly, and the wicked of the nations have been dealt with. There are two events that this could be. Either Yah giving us the promise of having children who are no longer cursed, or it's the foreshadowing to the very next chapter, the valley of dry bones, the resurrection of the whole house of Israel. One more thing I noticed is when the Most High said men multiplied as the sheep of Jerusalem in her feast, I believe this means once we start doing our feast again, there will be plenty to go around, not just for the Israelites, but for the righteous of the nations as well. The nations will worship the Most High or no rain, thus the famine that was mentioned earlier. Get ready to see Granddad Abram, Isaac, and Jacob. Not only the three main reasons why you and I are blessed by the Most High today, but also Uncles Moses, Elijah, King David, Jeremiah, Isaiah, and of course the return of the Almighty himself, the Most High Yah Elohim. Either way you slice it, the righteous will see and make it through the Most High's wrath to see Yah's glory and enter into his righteous kingdom. Even the righteous will go through the fire. Our sins are still upon us as proven earlier. Repent and cry out to the Most High to save you from yourself. I know that I need to be saved from myself. Again, Yah said that the whole house of Israel sought him. The righteous are actively searching the scriptures and their heart to find the Most High, including the righteous of all nations. Children of the covenant, this is a significant chunk of our redemption just told to you. If you can add and you wish to add to this, please do. We need each other to figure this out. Cry for me and I'll cry for you, Zion. Until next time, Zion, cry out to the Most High for what he told Uncle Ezekiel to come to pass this very day. The Most High is waiting to save us with his mighty wrath and everlasting mercies. All praises to the Most High. Hallelujah, brothers and sisters.